And hello and good morning. This is Boles TV, BOLES.TV. I'm David Boles, and this is back on the air, sort of. Now, I'm just going to turn up the sound on the TV to see if I can hear myself. Okay, it's working. So, interesting things are going on. As you can see, I'm not wearing my headphones. We don't have the echo problem that we had before. I'm glad to see our captions are working. And the reason I'm all nervous is because last week, our streaming software, OBS, was updated to version 28. Now, this is a big update, massive update, as they say. And a lot of people are having a lot of trouble with it. Things not working, plugins are not working, Stream Deck, you have to update very specifically. Stream Deck is this little thing here that we push a button and it changes the scene so we don't have to look and go like this and see, do I click on this or do I click on something else? It's a little bit easier. Well, people are having trouble with the Stream Deck plugin because it wasn't ready at the time that OBS 28 was released, and people upgraded anyway because you start OBS and it says, hey, new version, upgrade. So people click upgrade and there you go. And everything's ruined. But I got an email from Elgato saying, hey, OBS 28's out and you're going to have to do a special install to make your Stream Deck work with this new version of OBS 28. And it wasn't that difficult, but there were steps involved, but their website was very specific about the steps you had to take in order to get it all working. Normally, it just updates itself. But for some reason, I don't know why, they didn't get the update out in time for whatever reason. And then, when you start OBS, you get an error message saying Stream Deck doesn't work. But it does work because you did the update. But if you don't want that error message, then you have to clamber in to your Windows 11 program files. Excuse me, getting hotboxed. And you have to delete all the offensive, likely offending files, the DLL files. There are two of them. You have to go in there, delete them, restart OBS, and then the error message should go away. Well, 90% of the messages on the OBS Discord channel are, how do I get rid of this error message from Stream Deck? And all they have to do is go to the website and read how to do it. But people don't want to do it. They just want someone to do it for them. And that becomes impossible. So the other thing that's going on, so that's one thing. So our OBS is updated, and since we installed it, there have been issues, but they put in a hot fix for OBS, which is like emergency trouble-seeking mending, that we installed yesterday. And then we checked again this morning to see if there was another hot fix waiting, and there wasn't. And so we very carefully my phone is ringing. That's why you see the flashing in my face. I can't answer it, though. Maybe I should answer it. Hello? Very good. How are you? Yes, she'll be there. Absolutely. We will come in whenever you tell us to come in. Perfect. We will take it. Wonderful. We'll be there right away. Thank you. Bye. Hey, the dentist was calling. Our appointment has been changed from tomorrow at 10:15, tomorrow at 9:30. So we're first up, as they say in baseball. Hey, that's why we do a live show. You answer the phone, you chat, people listen, meow. A lot of fun. And the reason I answered is because my beautiful wife, Jana Marie Sweetheart, is deaf. And so it's easier that if doctors, whatever, if they need to leave a message for her, they just call me and leave a message for me, because trying to get them to use a video phone or some other way of communication becomes tiresome for them. So we've learned over 34 years of marriage, it's okay, they can call me. But sometimes they get hung up by my voicemail where they think it's not for her, it's just for me, even though we put down this is her phone number, we share that phone number. And then they don't leave a message. And then I have to end up calling them back anyway saying, hey, did you call? Yes, we'll be there tomorrow. So they were calling for Jana Marie Sweetheart. And it's all going to be great. It's all going to work out. It's going to be terrific. And I like being first up. So when they open, we're there. Look out. We're on our way. So this is our big test to see if the hotfix for OBS messed anything up. And as you know, if you're a rapt or rabid watcher of this stream, we have a lot of technical problems. Our microphone doesn't work. Our headphones don't work. We have echo. We're looking for music. There's no music. The microphone is on, but it's not working. The microphone is on, but it's not broadcasting. It's a big thing. But so far, with this OBS 28 update, I think it's fantastic. I think everything's running faster, smoother, stronger, better. OBS Bionic. And they have a new darker theme, which I like a lot. It has a little bit bigger icons, a little bit bigger text, so you can see a little better when you got old eyes that can't see nothings. Now, the other thing you may have noticed, is there is no music on this stream. By delight and design, dare I say. Music is the bane of any live streamer. You see it on Twitch, you see it on other channels. People play music. People play music on a certain channel that is live but doesn't get saved to the VOD, the video on demand, the VOD. It's a big hassle. And the reason is that there are deceptive, terrible people out there who, even though you're using licensed music, will sample that licensed music, put it in their own music, release it as a song, and then turn around and hit the streamer with a copyright violation, which means that any money earned from your video or streaming goes to the person who sampled the music that you had legally licensed. Now you stand up, you fight it, you say yes, you file a counterclaim to the DMCA claim, and then anywhere between 10 days and 30 days, the issue gets resolved, maybe, maybe not. So I have tried Pretzel Rocks. I have tried Monster Cat. I got hit with violations on both of them, even though the music is supposed to be safe for streaming. I went to slip.stream because they have a full commercial license where you can license music for use on your websites, your podcasts, any kind of meow meow. Right. That didn't work out very well because even though it's all licensed, you still get hit. And then you have to go to Slipstream. You have to report it to them. Hey, I got hit, even though this music is supposed to be safe to use. And then you go to the place where the offensiveness has been filed against you. Sometimes Twitch, often always YouTube. And you have to file a counterclaim, and that takes a while to fill out. And so I finally, working with Slipstream, said, look, there's this certain group. They have hour-long songs. Why don't I just make a playlist of those 10 songs that are hour-long songs, and that'll be a week of fresh music for the stream. I said, is this group safe to use? Because I don't want to be dinged. And they said, oh, yeah, sure. That's a good one to pick. So for many, many months, I used that background music. And it was good. I liked it. Weird, but it was okay. Just because sometimes when you're talking, I like to have a little music, a little background to enhance the experience. Well, last week on my specially curated Slip.stream playlist, 8 of my hour-long songs were removed. Now, that immediately sounded alarm bells everywhere I could think, because that means to me that music is no longer allowed to be used as a commercial streaming. Now, I'm completely protected because I can go back and say, if I ever get dinged, people go back to old shows or old podcasts and say, oh, this music is in violation. I say, no, I had a commercial license at that time with Slipstream. Go talk to them, and it will be fine. But now moving forward, you have podcast episodes that may have music that I now realize I have to burn, which means play them one right after the other, because music violations are probably going to be coming for people who use that music that's no longer available on their system. And even if you use a company that says, oh, we provide music that's safe for your stream, it doesn't protect you, in my opinion, because people can sample that music and turn around and bite you back. In Grand Theft Auto, there is a certain police siren that's just part of the game. Police siren, Hollywood siren number 3. And all these streamers get hit with a copyright violation because somebody took that siren from Grand Theft Auto and sampled it and put it in their music and said, hey, they're using my song. And this is, all these infractions and violations are determined by computers, not real people. So the computers just ding you and you deal with it. So this morning, as I'm getting ready to stream, I'm remembering that last week I had 10 songs that were streamable. Then it was down to 2 songs that were streamable that have been safe for over 9 months. And this morning I wake up and then everything's gone. No safe songs. They've all been removed from my playlist. So that's very bad news. That tells me I'm in big trouble. I'm not in any trouble because I have everything commercially licensed, but that tells me I got to burn all my podcast episodes as quickly and as humanely as possible. And then I have to find a way to sort of be charming and interesting so I can get some new podcast episodes based on this live stream published without any music. So that's my decision moving forward. You know, if we play a video or something like that from somebody and it has music, we'll be careful about that. But I'm really only going to be playing video stuff that I know is safe for me to use. And that is going to be original stuff that either I have created or other people have submitted to me. But I'm not playing any music on this live stream now or anytime. And this is a good time to make that change because next week or so, we're going to be making some changes in how this live stream is presented and propagated. And that takes some time. But first, before we make that change, I got to make sure that OBS is behaving properly and that my captions are still working, and they are, and that everything else makes sense. Everything else is on point. And so far, so good for now. Welcome to Monday. And it's not even Monday, it's Tuesday. Tuesday, after the holiday, it's raining, it's 74 degrees, it's hot, it's steamy, it's ugly. Oh, and by the way, here we go. Now we get started. This was posted on Reddit yesterday, and I just absolutely, completely loved it. In the Jersey City subreddit. With the question, What is happening to us? And I got involved in this conversation because I too would like to know what is happening to us. We are being invaded by lanternflies. And we've talked about those here before many times. They are ugly, they are nasty. Now, most of these appear to be dead. These are outside of one of the buildings in the complex in which we live. And I realized that these lanternflies really, really like big buildings, tall buildings, for some reason. Because people in other parts of the city, where just regular homes, say we don't see those things piling up outside our door, trying to get inside. So you have to wonder why. I have a theory. I've seen they go in and out of the white panels of the buildings. It appears they're taking some kind of refuge inside these buildings. Maybe they're eating the glue or some kind of insulation. They're attracted to it. They live inside the facade of the outside of the building, which makes them very hard to kill, especially when they move up. We have them on our floor, 22 floors above, I want to say sea level, the ground level. And you see them flying in swarms outside your window. Now, these are supposed to be lanternflies that you can kill by just stepping on them because they're very quick, but they don't fly well. And they get very tired easily. And so if you try to kill them once, twice, you miss. The third time you'll get them because they're too tired to move. That's the theory. That's the proven fact of how they operate. That was weird. Why did that just move? That's very weird. Go. Oh, there are ghosts in the machine. I don't know what's going on. So when you see them, as we saw yesterday, after looking at this photograph and then commenting on it, when you see them outside your window, inside the rails of your sliding window that slides this way, and they're in the rails, 6 of them, just sitting there, flapping their wings. You wonder, why are you here? What are you looking for? You're not inside the facade of the building. You're in our window well. Why? And you go back out the other window, and they're there too. And you see them flying in groups outside your window, and you think, where did they get this majestic power to fly outside of our window? Nobody invited them to come. Nobody wants them here. And yet they survive and they fly and they are pest-like. As someone in this Reddit group said, well, they don't want to come into your apartment. They're just, looking for something to eat. There are no plants, so they're looking for something. And I said, well, if you have your window open, and I did have my window open last week because it was beautiful and cool, and one of these things jumped in our window inside our apartment. It was really creepy. But then I knew how to chase it out so it would fly out, and it did. But we have a lot of beautiful plants in our window, close to our window. And so if they're hungry and looking for something to feed upon, if not your moral soul, they want to come in and eat your houseplants. So I think that's what they're looking for. They're somehow seeing, sensing, smelling, whatever they do, the plants in your apartment. And that's why they're camping outside your window, hoping for cooler weather, so you'll crack it open and they can come in and feast. And then you'll never get rid of them because they'll lay their eggs and it will just be a tremendous tragedy. And as the person who takes care of our plants said, we're not getting rid of our plants. I agree. The plants aren't going anywhere. But neither, my friend, are the lanternflies. The flies are here and they're going to be staying. So what do some people have to say about this? It's very interesting comments. And this used to be what you hear from our civic leaders. All these lanternflies, if you see them, just step on them. It's your civic duty. So we do. And now this person says, well, if you see it, stomp it isn't enough anymore. Another person says, well, that never was good advice. I'm from Pennsylvania, and I've been dealing with these guys for at least 3 years. I'm sorry this plague has spread your way, especially in the Journal Squared area. First detected in Pennsylvania in September 2014 means it was in Pennsylvania 8 years ago. It's a plague. Gee, thanks, Pennsylvania. Now they're in Manhattan, too. Nah. And this seems to be popular in at least this conversation. I surrendered to them today and bought a shop vac to get them all, since there was no way I could stomp all the ones that showed up at my place today. And people later on say, well, how do you do that exactly? You vacuum them up. They're not dead. They're in your shop vac. And then what do you do with them? I guess you empty them into a bag and throw the bag away? All afternoon I was creeping and crawling because these things will jump on you, and they have very sharp claws, legs, whatever it is, and they dig into your skin so they can jump off of you and all back onto you. It's very skeevy, as the kids say. Nightmare fuel. Another person says a super soaker filled with water and dish soap, rain hellfire on them. I hear that does work. Vinegar also works. It dissolves them. But how are you going to dissolve masses like this? And it looks like somebody did solve them with masses like this. But then you have to clean them up. And somebody said, well, they're all dead because they've mated and they've laid their eggs for the next generation. So that's the creepy crawly news so far today. We have more to come, but right now we're taking our very first blood pressure break of the day. Returning in a moment. And we are back from break. Here on Boles.tv, BOLES.tv, television, coming to you live and in concert. Not from the Omaha Civic Auditorium, but from the East Coast of the United States de Americano. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Weekends, 11 a.m. with Jana Marie, Sweetheart. Excuse me. So a lot of things are going on here. Are these new flu shots that are being released. Now, as well as the new COVID boosters. So last week, we went in to get our flu shot. And it was eventless. Little jab in the arm. My arm hurt a little tiny bit. I remember last time we got our flu shot and our COVID booster. I got one in one arm, one in the other arm. The COVID arm was fine. I felt great. The flu shot hurt, and Jana was just the opposite. So Friday we got our flu shot. My arm was a little sore for a day. Jana was fine. And while we were there, I asked about these new COVID boosters that are the new version. Because right now we have 4 shots, right? We have the first shot, the second shot, and then 2 boosters. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, right? So the pharmacist explained to me that they're not doing these 2 shots anymore. Those are out. They're doing the first and second shot. That's not changing. It's the same we've always had. Boom, boom, done. Now, if you want a booster, a 3rd booster or a 5th booster, that is coming from Moderna and Pfizer. This week, next week, you have to call and find out. So she said, the pharmacist, that last week there were people making appointments to come in and get their booster shot. And the CDC said last week, these shots, booster shots, need to be the new shot, not the old shots that we used to give 4 times. So she has to turn people away. They're very upset, understandably, that they have to come back later and get the new booster whenever the new booster is available, that we're hoping will be this week. And just today I was reading that somebody got the Moderna new booster and was very sick, did not feel good. Said, look, I had COVID, and I felt better on COVID than, getting the second booster. And other people saying, well, thank you for being a guinea pig. We hope you feel okay. And this person was like sort of regretting getting the shot. And I'm thinking, look, these shots are how you are sort of going to feel if you actually get that variant of COVID. So if you had the COVID of, 1 and 2, now the new booster's coming out, and the booster is for the advanced worst version of COVID, then your suffering is precisely what you're supposed to be doing, because it's not making you sick. It's just making you feel like you have it, even though you're not sick. So feedback like that from people who've had the first 1 and 2 shots and who've had COVID and are now getting the second booster with the new formulation, that's not going to be good for people who are anti-vax or shot shy. They're not going to want to step forward and get the new booster. But that's okay, I guess. I'm getting the booster. As I've said, I will take any vaccine you have. I will take one every day for the rest of my life. I believe in science. I believe in shots. Now, another thing I want to talk about briefly is this idea of quiet quitting that I find fascinating from 2 points of view. Now, the point of view of the employer is, I hear that people are quiet quitting. They're just doing their jobs and they're not adding any joy or any anticipation here. They're just there, they're doing their time, and they're leaving. How dare they? And the workers are saying, yeah, how dare I? I propose things, I work extra hours, I try to be creative, energetic. Do I get paid extra for it? No. Do I get any free appreciation for it? No. What is the point of going above and beyond when I am not thought of or paid as above and beyond? And I completely 100% support that. And you sort of see this quiet quitting in, established jobs where people have been there for a long time. Traditional union jobs where you're there and they can't touch you unless you decide to leave. So they do their job as described, and that's it. And they usually have a piece of paper saying, that's not in my job description. And they get away with it because that's how it works. Now, young people are discovering, especially after working from home because of COVID, what the real world is like. And that in order for them to survive, they need to do what they have to do to survive. And you have these employers who are demanding they come back to the office. You have these employers who expect people to suffer for them and to do extra unpaid work for them and to be excited for them and to cheerlead for them because that's the American way. And when they don't, then they get upset. Oh, you're quiet quitting. And I don't believe they are. I believe they're just doing their job. What's asked of them and nothing more. And what's wrong with that? If you want more out of somebody, then offer them more money, more praise, a better position, a higher title. Do something. But don't expect, your worst paid workers, your most trod upon workers, to go the extra mile when the employer will not go the extra mile for the employee. It's an important distinction that makes a big difference. So these people quietly quit in their own human contempt for the world and for their job and for themselves. And I think that's perfectly fine. If they're content doing the bare minimum that's asked of them, and they're content with how they're being paid and how they're being treated, then so what? They're not quitting. They're just doing what's expected of them. And this happens to a lot of creative people who get very excited, very interested. They want to go above and beyond. They want to expand their job title, no extra money, no extra recognition. They just want to do a really good job for the company. And some companies take advantage of that and promote that and fulfill the person. And other companies don't want that. They want you to be quiet and sit down and behave. Leave people alone. Don't be too excited. Don't work too fast. Just do it. Well, what about my ideas? We can change it. We can make the workplace better. Nobody asked you to do that. Nobody asked you to start something, to invent something, to make something better. No one asked you to do that. Just be quiet and sit there and work on your computer. Now, is that staying between the lines or is that quiet quitting? I guess it all depends on your point of view. And speaking of quiet quitting, it's very interesting, this new idea that we have of women in the workforce who work very hard and who want to have a family, who have to give up what they have in order to get in. Or to get in, they have to give up what they want. An example is the pharmacist I was just talking about when we got our flu shot and information on the COVID boosters. The head pharmacist left, and she had been there for many years. She's the assistant pharmacist, but she's not the assistant to the pharmacist. She's the second in command. And I noticed that they brought in someone from the outside to be the lead pharmacist. And so I asked her, I said, okay. As she's giving me my flu shot and jabbing it in my arm. I said, if you don't want to answer this, that's okay. But I'm just curious if you applied to be the lead pharmacist because you've been here for as long as we can remember, 20 years. And she said, oh, no, 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 I don't want that job. I said, why not? I mean, it's more money. It's theoretically prestige, right? And she said, well, it's an extra 14 hours every week. And right now, she works 35 hours a week. And she said, it's almost full time. I said, okay. And she said, and I have 3 kids. So I said, oh. So because she has 3 kids that she loves and enjoys and wants to be with, she can't be the lead pharmacist because that would take 14 hours a week away from spending time with her kids. So to her, right now, home, kids, family, more important than being the lead pharmacist. Now, is that quiet quitting? Where you're offered an opportunity, prestige, more money, more hours, the American way? Or you just want to sit back and enjoy your life, work almost full time, and raise your children to be the people you want them to be? It's a very interesting question. And as I discussed this with our Jana Marie, she said, well, that's not that rare. Women have to always suffer for the family because they're the ones who carry the kids. Elsa Pacate, right? World international famous model. Met a young actor, good-looking guy. Okay. Chris Hemsworth, Thor, the Avengers, becomes a big star. And she says to herself, and probably to Chris, well, we want to have kids. And you can't have the kids, so I have to have the kids. So she had kids, 2 or 3, I think. Sort of had to give up her international modeling career to be a mom. Is that quiet quitting? Or is that doing something that you have no other choice to do if you're going to be in a family? And you're a woman who wants to have children and you have a man? Well, the man is not going to be able to have the children in that scenario if you're Chris Hemsworth. So it's up to Elsa to pick up the baton and say, well, I'll give up my career, I hope temporarily, so we can have our kids and we can have a family together. And as Jan also mentioned, Serena Williams, right? Greatest female tennis player? Almost. She's quitting because she's old, because she wants to have a family, because she had to put her career on hold for a while to have a baby. Is that fair to compare Tom Brady with her? Oh, Tom Brady's the greatest athlete of all time. Look at all the things he's won. Well, what about Serena? She had to take time off to have a baby. Is it a fair comparison? Well, Serena didn't have to have a kid. She could have just moved forward. Pharmacist doesn't have to have kids. She could be the lead pharmacist. Elsa can still have her career. Just have to have kids. Being pregnant, quiet quitting? Not really. But there are some people who think, oh, that's the woman's place in a marriage, in a family. Give up what she wants, give up what she has in order to please the greater goodness of society. But does she get credit for it? Does she lose status, influence, money? Sometimes life beats the heck out of you. And what choice do you have but to sit back and play along? Do what's expected of you, do what's asked, and nothing more, in order to just simply survive. So we have to factor in all these outside influences when we determine the value of a life, the importance of a person in the workplace, who's quietly quitting and who's loudly resigning. These are the questions of our day, and they're all interesting and important to consider. And I thank you for spending this time together to have this conversation. Now, as you know, when this live stream began, I received a phone call, right? Picked it up, ring, ring. The dentist's office calling. Now, we had an issue in our home with a little bit of tooth pain. So I called our former dentist, who we have not been to for a couple of years because of COVID. And if you think about exposure to COVID, dentists were at the front line. I mean, people have their mouths wide open, breathing on the dentist. You have to have a lot of care in not catching COVID. And if you're there, you don't want to catch COVID from other people who have their mouths open. So we just kind of stayed away, and now we're paying for it a little bit. So we called our old dentist, who I think is a wonderful person, very artistic, and said, hey, we have some tooth pain. Can we come in and see you? And they said, what's your insurance? And we told them our insurance has not changed. It's pretty good insurance. Union insurance. And this dentist said, oh, we don't take that insurance anymore. I said, what? Oh, no, we haven't had that, and we haven't taken that insurance for a year. Huh? And as I'm having this conversation with not the dentist, but I believe the wife of the dentist, who is also a dentist, whom we avoid, was speaking to me in her heavy Russian accent. We don't take it. I said, so the doctor we've seen for 15 years, we can't come and see him anymore because not that our insurance has changed, but that you decided you don't want to take our insurance. And she said, that's right. And I said, because I knew her, I said, so are you telling me that the reason you're not taking our insurance is because it doesn't pay you enough? And she said, that's right. I said, well, have you checked it lately? Because in the last year, the insurance is with the new union contract much better. She said, no, we haven't checked it. I said, do you plan to check it? No. So as I hung up the phone and then had to go on a mission of finding a new dentist, I realized that it's disappointing that you have doctors who have patients, people patients, not patients as in time management, who will not help people who they previously helped because they're not being paid enough. And I really realize we live in a society, everyone's in it for money. But that's sort of quiet quitting. From my point of view about my dentist, oh, no, I don't take your insurance. Well, I'm sick, I'm not feeling well. Too bad, go find somebody else. And it's not just us. There are regular doctors, cardiologists, primary care physicians. Oh, we don't take that insurance. Why not? It's always about money. That's what it is, about benefits. It's all it's about. They want to be paid a higher amount of money. Oh, we don't take Medicare patients. Why not? Why don't you just accept any insurance somebody has? And there are doctors I've met who do that. That is their philosophy. If you have insurance, I take it. I take everything. And there are other doctors who say, I take 3 insurances. I had an early dermatologist in New York City who told me, after today, I can't see you anymore unless you pay me. I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm not taking your insurance anymore. I'm not taking any insurance anymore. I don't want to deal with it. If you want to see me, you come in and you pay full price. And I said, wow. And you're a dermatologist. That's right. I can make more money doing Botox injections and little fruity fruit stuff, fruit flavored stuff they put on your face to make you look younger than I can, cutting people open and removing their skin cancer. So I think that's fair. You don't want to take insurance? That's fine. You don't want to help people? That's fine. Hippocratic oath? Who cares? First, do no harm by not seeing anybody. A little bit of quiet quitting to me. So I don't understand these doctors and these dentists who draw, imaginary lines in the sand saying, well, I'll see you, but not you, because you don't pay me enough. I want top dollar for my time. I want to be appreciated. I don't want to have to wait for my money. And then there are other doctors who are just terrific. I'll take any insurance you have. And if you don't have insurance, I understand, and I'll give you a discount. And they are out there. You just have to know where to find them. And now it's time for our next blood pressure break. Returning in a moment. And we're back here on Boles.tv. It's BOLES.tv. Coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Well, as you may know, I'm a big observer. I want to say fan, but I'm not sure if that's the right word. Observer of Nebraska football. As a graduate of the University of Nebraska at Lincoln. So on Saturday, Nebraska played North Dakota. North Dakota's not a great team. Not a Power 5 team. Meh. Into the third quarter, Nebraska was tied with North Dakota at the 17 points apiece. Terribly embarrassing. And here's some analysis I'll share with you right now that's not mine. The current state of Nebraska football can be best summed up by how joyless it was Saturday when the Cornhuskers finally pulled away in the fourth quarter to beat North Dakota 38-17. It takes a lot for fans to be mad after victories. They have an addiction to hope. When they are given even a little bit of reason to see a better future on the horizon, it triggers an almost Pavlovian response to focus on the good and to ignore the bad. In year 5, we shouldn't be talking about Coach Scott Frost's lack of offensive identity or endemic special teams blunders or a defense that struggles to stand up to anyone. Saturday was supposed to be an easy breezy afternoon for a team coming back from a difficult trip to Ireland where it inexplicably blew an 11-point second half lead to Northwestern. Instead, Nebraska found itself in a real fight against an FCS team that went 5-6 last season. If anything, the win only masks the massive issues that Frost has yet to solve despite having 5 years to do it. It's all true, and it's all completely disappointing. Excuse me. Now let's go to an update from our friend. Our friend Alexander, who is in Ukraine. He is a jeweler by trade, and he's been thrown into this terrible, terrible war with Putin. And I saw in the news today that a guy who wrote an article about the war in Ukraine, said the most amazing thing when he was there and the war started is that everybody dropped what they were doing and said, we must defend Ukraine. We will not give in. We will fight. And they gave a couple examples of artists, sculptists who went to the authorities and said, give me a gun. Teach me how to shoot. And they were taught to hold an AK-47 for the first time in their life. And they now use it against the Russians. So every once in a while, we used to get daily updates, but now because the war is threatening our friend Alexander, who goes by Kosmich on our Discord server, he has a hard time trying to come to terms with what's really happening in the war. He's been called up. I don't know if he's leaving or when he's leaving, but his family is staying no matter what happens. So here's his update. Good evening, my friend. Sorry I'm a little backed up. Training, moonlighting to help the family, and 2 big trips coming up. Tomorrow night we're going to Pokrovsk-Kramstork, Donetsk region. I did practice that, but I didn't do it very well. And then in 2 days in the city of Nikolaev in the hospital. There again, they need help. You know, I'll be honest with you. Some things in our country are sad. You see that the whole world helps us with money and weapons, but at the same time, we collect money to bring food and medicines to the hospitals. So the doctors can change the clothes of the wounded soldiers, dressings of the soldiers. It makes me very angry that people give up the last thing they have. I cannot find time for my child. I try to earn money, plus our training as a territorial defense and volunteer activity from which I do not have a penny. And someone profits from the fact that there is a war. As promised, I tell you everything as it is. On the one hand, people from kindergarten sew underwear for the soldiers for free. We are collecting and looking for free, asking the beggars to help. We understand that winter is coming, and we need thermal underwear, warm clothes, and the officials are building houses and lining their pockets. That's the way it is. I am very morally tired. I understand that every trip to the front line may be my last. We really give our all, collect the cars, buy ammunition, thermal imaging cameras, and at the same time, I can't even pay the utilities in full. It's not funny, but it's a fact. I very much hope that after our victory, we will be able to defeat one more enemy in our country, called corruption and theft. Sorry, I just have a lot of emotions today. I have sent them here, very much mentally tired from everything. Tomorrow night, a trip to the front. I will make lots of photos and videos. Good night to you and your wife. Health and God bless you. And then he adds, don't hold it against me that I've been in touch less often. And we certainly don't hold that against Alexander. We're always delighted to hear from him. I love his updates. I appreciate his videos. His photographs. They're just absolutely lovely. And let me see if I can find his account. Because he posted something over the weekend that I thought was just really, really charming. It's the first day of class. And as we discussed this on Discord, this is his daughter's first day of class. And her first day of class is, I guess tainted isn't the right word, but informed by this ridiculous war going on around her. And this is how he memorialized her first day of class as a first grader. Beautiful outfit, wonderful flowers, with bombs from Russia exploding over her country. Pictures, beautiful, delightful. I'm sure she's very nervous the first day of class. And here's another update, raising money for the cause. It's amazing. We are with you, friends. Now, Facebook, it appears, is in a little bit of trouble. According to data presented by trading platforms, the number of Facebook's monthly active users in Europe, which is very interesting, plunged by a massive 20 million people in the first half of the year. After losing 20 million users in the first 6 months of this year, Facebook's European user base shrunk below 2020 levels. At the same time, the social media giant reported a growth in the number of users on a global scale, with their number rising from 2.91 billion to 2.93 billion in this period. Moreover, the report once again confirmed the number of MAUs globally has never taken a backward step since 2012. However, the plunging number of users is not the only problem Facebook faces in the European market. Regulators are close to stopping Meta, Facebook's parent company, from sending EU data to the US, bringing a years-long privacy battle to a head. As the company has pointed out many times, this could result in Facebook and Instagram potentially pulling their apps from millions of people and thousands of businesses across the continent. Now that's a little dangerous. What are they going to do? They need the people. It's going to become an issue and not a great issue. And speaking of the media and news coverage and access and social media, here's a very interesting thread over the weekend. Or for a week, people have been disparaging on Twitter that CNN has gone down the dumper. And people want to know why. CNN used to be a great place to go if you were liberal-minded, and now more and more they're having conservative people with these talking points, and it's like, why are you both siding this now? It doesn't make any sense. We're not interested in this. So here's an interesting thread from a person who used to work at CNN, explaining exactly what's going on. What happened to CNN? I worked there for 18 years. This is what happened. Everyone wants to know why CNN is shifting from liberal to conservative. Well, let me explain why. What Fox News gets that MSNBC and CNN don't get, each quarter the cable operators release their subscriber base. For 7 consecutive years, the cable operators have seen subscriber declines for 84 months. It's called in the TV biz cord cutters. 97% of the cord cutters are under the age of 50. The majority of what is left watching cable, like we have known, are very, very old people. As demographics for TV rapidly has changed to a very old age group, the networks remaining with any traction, ESPN, Newsnext, etc., have to appeal to who is sitting on their couch watching news 24/7. Again, they are very, very old people relative to the U.S. population. So in the ratings war, the scorecard is usually based on adults 18 to 49, but not for news. No one buys news networks going after 18 to 49-year-olds. No one. All advertisers on these networks buy them for adults 50 and over. MSNBC went to the left. Fox News went far right. CNN has been trying to play in the middle. So the problem with CNN was they built a powerhouse in the 1990s. They printed money, cash, hand over fist. Then MSNBC and Fox News came along and the race was on for hearts and minds. MSNBC went velvet rope, elitist, right? Fox News went diner. CNN got caught in the middle in no man's land, like a street vendor. I don't know. But the money kept coming in. Then technology changed the game. CNN.com became the de facto news source for America for 10 years. Bernard Shaw hiding under the desk when Baghdad got bombed. Aaron Brown broadcasting for 20 hours straight during 9/11. We at CNN loved the accolades. We sold on it. But what we didn't do was take a look at what was really happening. The viewership started to splinter to MSNBC because some folks wanted a left-bending news. But most people went to Fox. In fact, between 2008 and 2016, CNN lost 60% of its 50 and older audience. Fox News saw a 70% increase in the same demo during the same period, and they were mostly men. Fox News gave the audience what they wanted, an aggrieved white man perspective, while we chased the next shiny object at CNN. Not arguing Fox News is right, absolutely not. They are evil to the core. But you have to fish where the fish are. In 2010, the team at CNN got the Fox News strategy for sales. And that was their strategy. They got ours too, and MSNBC, it happens all the time. Some of us said, uh-oh, they're right. The audience is no longer 18 to 49. Others laughed and mocked it. Then Trump came along, and CNN started to make a S-load of money again by being the counter to Fox News, but it was based on perception, not reality. No one was watching. Why? While the rest of America is out there cutting the cord, Fox News doubled down on old people, and they won. CNN saw that CNN Plus will not bring in new audiences. What 65-year-old is going to download and then subscribe to a news streaming service with a basketball star, Rex Chapman? No offense, Rex, I love you, but the 65-year-old living in the villages is not a fan. News networks are not here to defend democracy. There is only one goal and one goal only: higher CPMs. CPMs is the currency used in TV to reflect the value of the programming. The higher the CPM, the higher the margin on that commercial being sold. The most valuable programming on TV is the championship game of the NCAA March Madness tournament. The Super Bowl gets higher ratings, but the value ratio between CPM, cost per thousand, and the audience is significantly much larger for March Madness championship game than the Super Bowl. You pay $4 to $5 million for a Super Bowl ad, but you get 100 million people watching. You pay $1 million for a March Madness spot, but only get at most these days 15 million people watching. Do you see the ratio premium difference? It's the same with Fox News versus CNN versus MSNBC. The ratio for Fox News's cost per thousand are much higher relative to their audience that they attract, which means their margins are higher, which also means the value to who they are selling to is more profitable. Chris Licht, the new head of CNN, was given one edict: raise cost per thousand. That's it. That's all he has to do. And he believes this is how, by moving CNN to the right. It's over. So that's a very interesting take on what's happening with the news. And as I've said on this stream many times, the mainstream news, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, they love Donald Trump. They want him to be the next president because he infuriates people. He pleases people. They want him on the network. They want to cover him. And that is the world in which we find ourselves spinning down the drain. It's all about making money. It's not about reporting the news or being fair. It's only about telling a story that will get people to tune in. And now we're taking our final break of the day. Back in a moment. And we are back here on Boles.tv, BOLES.tv, not television. And yes, it's that time of day again. Oh no, oh yes. It's time to play a little bit of Not Bobby Fischer chess. Oh boy. This is where I step forward into the bliss, into the bleach, into the whatever it is, to try to prove myself as a better chess player than I am. And I'm very terrible. This is Chessable, my chess trainer. And these are revealed checks. Excuse me, sometimes double checks, double wishing, double entendre. Well, I don't know what it is. But it's difficult. So you usually have to move a piece to reveal some sort of check. In this puzzle, I'm playing the black pieces, and these are timed. So bear with me. What do we have? Okay. I'm playing black. The object of my desire is here. Main weapons are here, here, and here. So I'm sure this is going to be some kind of strange reveal. And I'm very tempted to move here. So then puts the king in check this way. But I know these puzzles, they love you to lose your queen early. But do I want to do that? Not really. And if I make the wrong move, they're going to make me make the right move. So I'm going to make this move. Right piece? I guess wrong direction. So now I have to make that move, or they're going to punish me. Okay. I lose my rook. So I believe I move here. Put the king in check. King can't touch because I'm protecting my rook. The king will move here to get out of the way, and then I'll move here to mate him. So not a terrible puzzle, not a great puzzle. It's an okay puzzle. But at least I know what I have to do now. Here to here. I hate when that happens because it's a right move, but it's not the move they want. So if I now make the wrong move, I don't get credit for it. So now, what do? I mean, the only other move I can think of is here. That puts the king in check. I don't know. Okay. And now I take the queen. And then I win the puzzle. Ugh, terrible. 66% accuracy. I'll take it. Now we go to chess.com for our chess puzzle of the day. When forks and batteries collide. That sounds very complicated and not exactly something that interests me in trying to figure out. But I will try. I have to move this just a little bit so we can try to see everything because we have things in the way. Wish I could make this smaller, but it won't let me. So I'm playing white. Object of my desire is here. My best weapons, here, here. And probably here, 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 and here. Now you have to figure out how to do it, though. A battery versus a fork. Is that what it was? Batteries versus a fork? fork. Yeah. So they have the battery, and I believe I have the fork. So a fork usually is done with a knight, but not always. Knight move here, not good. Knight moves here, good. Knight moves here, not that great. Not liking any of this. Queen moves here, king in check. Not great because the rook takes. Hmm. Battery versus a fork. Now, the fork has to be my side, and the battery must be their side. And the battery looks to me to be along this line with all these people. That looks like a strong battery to me. But what do I know? Because that bishop wants that knight. So I think I got to move my knight somehow. But the question is where? I can't move it here because then that bishop will take. If I move it here, yeah. I move it here. This is very different. This is a difficult puzzle. And it's supposed to be early in the week. They're supposed to get harder as the day goes on, as the week goes on. This is just a mess. I'm not sure what to do. This is probably the fork, right? Oh, that's the fork. I'm going to lose one of them. So maybe the battery is me. Yeah. Ooh, that's painful. Now you could go here, take the bishop, but then the queen just comes down. And then you're in big trouble because the queen's going to take you apart. Oh, that's the fork. That's the fork. Now, the great thing about these chess.com puzzles is there's no time limit. I can sit here with you all day, like 2-3 hours, trying to figure this out. Oh, boy. Oh, this is not looking great for white. I mean, you almost want to go like this here, right? To protect your rook, but then the bishop will just take and you have the same fork. So it's not a bishop move. I think you almost got to move the rook somehow. I'm going to move my rook just to see what happens. Try again. I don't want to lose my rook. Nope. Not putting the king in check. Now, when I make 3 wrong moves, then I ask for a hint. And then if you need more of a hint, then it just solves the puzzle for you. So this is not going well for me. This is not great. This is why you need background music to play while you think. Thinking music, right? Yeah. Hmm. This is harder than I thought it would be. I mean, I can't. Maybe you go here, put the king in check, but then the rook just takes. And if you move here, put the king in check, the rook will just take back that way. So it can't be that move. Queen goes here, no. Queen goes here, no. Queen goes here, no, 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 no. They do like a queen sacrifice. I'll try this. Oh, see, it's sneaky. And then I'm assuming it's this bishop here. Uh-huh. Which puts the king in check. And then the king moves. Okay, so I'll try it. See, these chess.com puzzles don't end in a win. They end in doing the right move. So it's not like the chessable puzzles where you're, solving into a checkmate situation. It's just solving into a position that makes sense. Oh, maybe this is a checkmate position because if the king goes here, doesn't get out of check. King goes here. Oh, okay, I see what's going on. And check, check. Okay, I see what's going on. I get the puzzle now. Okay, was it easy? It is checkmate. Meow. So there you go. What a way to end the show, right? Had a wonderful show with you today. I thank you so much for being here. Talked about a lot of interesting things. You can email me, David at Boles.tv, on Twitter, at David Boles, super follows to follow, on Facebook, BOLES, on Instagram, it's Boles Books, TikTok, it's Boles TV, and you can always join our Discord server. It's discord.gg/BOLES. So I hope you have a wonderful day, a great nap, a nice rest, and whenever ye shall awaken, may your soul be filled with joy and lots of sunshine. I'll see you next time.